October's coming up quick, and there's a lot of great new games coming. Hi folks, it's Falcon, and today on GameRanks, the top 10 new games of October 2019. Let's not waste any time. Coming in at number 10, Medieval. I am ready for Medieval. This is a game that kind of precedes the Dark Souls phenomenon in the way that it's set up. Not entirely, but to some extent. It's a game that kind of uses the aesthetic of Tim Burton's stop-motion films, and it's for sure a different game that uses its own humor as a means to kind of ooze a bit more personality than you might expect out of it. And this remake is along the lines of the Spyro remakes, where the graphics are vastly improved, but the game looks pretty much more or less the same. Maybe some quality of life updates. I'm looking forward to finding out exactly what those might carry. Medieval was a great game back in the day. Honestly, all the remakes that have been happening recently, starting with the Crash one, is kind of allowing a lot of these games that weren't perfect to come out with much nicer graphics and some quality of life updates. Again, like Spyro, they fixed that camera, and ooh, the game is better for it. I cannot wait to see how this plays out for Medieval. It's coming out October 25th on PlayStation 4. Number 9 is Moons of Madness. Moons of Madness is, of course, a very, very strange looking game, and that's the reason to care about it. It is different. It's a cosmic horror game set on Mars while you're performing scientific exploration, and posits a story that takes place partially in your mind as your mental state breaks down. Now, when I say cosmic horror, there is a definite Lovecraftian vibe to a lot of what you see, but it also, aside from all the tentacles and all that, has kind of a black goo thing going on as well. I think there's a nice combination of aesthetics going on, and the story's pretty good. Mysterious message comes from Mars. They determine it's of intelligent origin. Scientists go up there. Cosmic horror ensues. I'm there for this. It's a very strange looking game, and I'm looking forward to whatever mysteries it holds. Moons of Madness is landing on PS4, Xbox One, and PC on Halloween. Look out for it. Number 8 is WWE 2K20, the first game in the WWE 2K franchise, developed entirely by Visual Concepts, and the first to feature a female cover star. She's also wearing a shirt that says The Man, which is just terrific irony. Whoever came up with that idea is honestly pretty funny. It also gives you the option of doing a female My Career story. The collector's edition will feature the return of Chyna, who has not been in one of these games since SmackDown 2, Know Your Role, way back in 2000, and Hulk Hogan, because whatever reason you know Hulk Hogan for, he is hilarious. Honestly, the WWE franchise has been headed in a good direction, albeit a bit slowly, and I'm interested to see exactly what they do to continue that plot. Obviously, the graphics continue to get better and better. It's always a good-looking game, though. And honestly, I think a lot of people are going to have a lot of fun with this. WWE 2K20 is coming to PlayStation 4, Windows, and Xbox One on October 22nd. Coming in at number 7, John Wick Hex is an action strategy game, and it's basically a game where you move John Wick on a hex grid, dodging bullets, killing bad guys, and manage ammo and things like that. It looks like a really fun time. John Wick is phenomenal. Honestly, this one hasn't been on my radar, and it's sort of snuck up on me. It actually looks really good. It reminds me a lot of XCOM, but it's John Wick. The John Wick movies are just stylistic masterpieces, and the game looks very much as if it wants to follow in those footsteps, giving us just an absolute beautiful neon color palette and heavily cel-shaded graphics. I'm very excited for this. I think it's going to be pretty cool, and I do hope we see it on all of the consoles, but it's coming to PC on October 8th. Moving on to number 6, there's a number of great ports coming this month, starting off with Witcher 3 Wild Hunt Complete Edition with all of the DLC. And let me just go ahead and say, Blood and Wine is itself worth a full game. It's such a great, interesting campaign on its own, and that's not what you're getting. You're getting the entire Witcher 3, that, and the other. And frankly, who can complain about that? Overwatch is also going to be hitting. Of course, we want Overwatch on the platform. The Switch is such a great platform for that kind of stuff, and although it definitely won't feature the same kind of horsepower any other platform does, Overwatch will be great there. Also, we're getting Resident Evil 5 and Resident Evil 6 on Switch. Resident Evil 5 and 6 will both be hitting on October 29th. Moving on to number 5, Concrete Genie is a game that will use the DualShock's motion controls in order to basically paint a living city. It's not a difficult story to understand. A young boy doodles in a notebook, bullies take the notebook, shred the papers, he tries to get the papers back, finds a magic paintbrush, of course, as you do, and reinvigorates the city using it. To me, it kind of looks like it takes elements of a point-and-click adventure game and combines them with Jet Set Radio, which are two things you'd never think to combine, but I'm really excited and want to see if that's the case. We know for a fact there's some Jet Set Radio elements. The creative director of the game says the game is actually heavily inspired by Jet Set Radio, and that makes me happy. It will also have a PlayStation VR mode in case you're interested in that. Concrete Genie is a PS4 exclusive and will be hitting on October 8th. Coming in at number 4, it's Luigi's Mansion 3. When announced, it was a very pleasant surprise, but I don't think it's going to be a shock that this game is good. It's Luigi's Mansion. All the previous entries in this series have been good, and frankly, a Switch version is exactly what we need. The big difference here is that they've switched to a hotel setting. I don't know that I really consider that to be a big change. It's probably just going to relate to the scale of the game, which I assume will probably be larger, on account the Switch is capable of more than any platform that it's been on before, and I'm assuming they're wanting to take advantage of that. I like the idea that the game might have a bit more of an open-ended level structure with different themes on every floor, and apparently there's going to be a mode that allows for up to 8 players to play. I don't know how it's going to work, but I'm interested, of course. Luigi's Mansion is a fantastic series. I'm stoked to have it back. It's hitting appropriately on Halloween, so get ready. Number 3 is Ghost Recon Breakpoint, a new tactical shooter in the Ghost Recon series. Apparently, it is a game that features a world larger than the previous Ghost Recon Wildlands, which I think is a good move. That's part of the reason Ghost Recon Wildlands was great, is it was a big, open, very well put together world. It is a direct sequel to Wildlands, taking place 4 years after the events of, and happens on an island owned by a billionaire and quote-unquote philanthropist, and I think you know exactly where they're going with this. That sounds kinda messed up. Why are we doing Ghost Recon missions on an island owned by a billionaire philanthropist? Does he have something sinister going on? I'd bet yes. The game apparently has dialogue choices, but they don't really affect the main narrative, but rather enable you to gain intelligence, so I'm actually kind of not bothered by that. If somebody doesn't know how to do a big, sprawling, branching story, I think it's better if they just stick to a linear one, and I think that might be a good thing. We'll see when Ghost Recon Breakpoint hits Google Stadia, Windows, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One on October 4th. Coming in at number 2, and probably one of my most anticipated games of the year, is The Outer Worlds, what looks to be quite a magnum opus from Obsidian. In a lot of ways, it looks like Fallout by way of BioShock in space, with a semi-surrealist art style. And to be frank, I am just so excited for The Outer Worlds. Everything about this game just looks amazing to me. It looks beautiful, it looks like it's got tons of personality, and in my opinion, it harkens back to some of the great work that Obsidian has done through the years, like not only Fallout New Vegas, but even a little bit of a Knights of the Old Republic vibe as far as how characters appear to interact a bit, like the rhythm and tone. I don't know if that's appropriate or not, but I get that feel a bit from this, and I like that. Outer Worlds is just gonna be phenomenal. I'm so excited for it. It is coming to Windows, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch. However, the Switch version has a TBA release date. We'll be seeing it on everything else on the 25th. And finally, landing at number 1, Call of Duty Modern Warfare, which as a reboot looks phenomenal. Like, I don't know how to express how cool this game actually looks, but it seems like somebody was like, hey, everybody's talking about single player games and how we need single player games that are good. Let's do it. That's what it looks like we're getting. The story is based around very gray morality, getting your hands dirty in order to help the common good, and I think that sounds great. The story trailer is really actually kind of riveting, and they have done an amazing job making realistic looking characters. That's of course good because realism is a high priority here. I actually have pretty high expectations for this game, and to say that of a Call of Duty title makes me very happy actually. Call of Duty Modern Warfare is hitting PS4, Xbox One, and PC on October 25th. Couple of bonus games for you. First is Destiny 2 Shadowkeep, the very first Destiny entry without Activision's involvement, and the very reason I am personally excited for Destiny 2 Shadowkeep. I'm very interested to see how Bungie handles this without Activision's involvement, because I think that's probably been the primary reason that it's not been great. I'm sure it'll have its own issues, but I do actually look forward to future Destiny stuff now, and that's cool. It's hitting PS4, Xbox One, Stadia, and PC on October 1st. After Party is a new game coming from the developers of Oxenfree, which, by the way, just want to say, Oxenfree, phenomenal. If you haven't played it, go ahead and do it. It's cheap, and it's just a beyond fun game with a great story. After Party is about two dead people out drinking Satan, and I cannot possibly imagine me not being interested in that. It's hitting PlayStation 4 and PC on October 29th. Moving on, it's Ghostbusters, the video game remastered. This is, of course, the critically acclaimed Ghostbusters game, having been remastered. Let's just pretend this is the only Ghostbusters game and that this is the only version, and we'll all be better for it. That's hitting PS4, Xbox One, PC, and Switch October 4th. Grid, the reboot of the popular Codemasters racing series. I'm pretty excited for it. Codemasters obviously knows what they're doing as far as racing goes. The previous Grid game hit in 2014, and it's been a while. And it seems like they're throwing a lot of new ideas at us this time around, and that's kind of what has me interested in it. We'll see how that turns out. Grid is hitting on PS4, Xbox One, Stadia, and PC on the 11th.
Moving on, Plants vs. Zombies Battle for Neighborville, which, just like the previous game, gives you the ability to do cooperative or competitive multiplayer plant fighting. There's 6 new classes in this version of the game, and honestly, Plants vs. Zombies has always been fun. I loved Garden Warfare 2. I look forward to another version of it.
What games are you looking forward to this upcoming month? Leave us a comment, let us know what you think. If you like this video, click like, and if you're not subscribed, now's a great time to do so. We upload brand new videos every day of the week, and the best way to see them first is, of course, a subscription. So click subscribe, and don't forget to click the notification bell. As always, thank you very much for watching this video. I'm Falcon. You can follow me on Twitter, @FalconTheHero. We'll see you next time, right here on GameRanks.